When it comes to your contest prep, we know that nutrition is a key critical piece. But what amount of protein, what amount of carbs, what amount of fats, what else is important to make sure you're doing it the right way? We're going to cover all that today on Protein Power. What's up, fam? I'm Ryan Milton from TeamFFLEX. You're on my show, Protein Power. Every Monday, I get on here and we talk about everything nutrition, everything to help you get where you want to be. So make sure that you do me a favor and you subscribe to this channel and help me out. If you get anything out of the video, tell somebody about it, share it, whatever you can do to help me spread the word. Doing a lot of free information, and this is just one of 5 shows I run all week for you right here on TeamFFLEX TV. Let's dive in. Today's topic, I want to talk about nutrition on contest prep, all right? Everybody always asks me, literally every day I get questions, hey, what should I do with my protein? What about my carbs, my fats? What's important on prep? Well, I got it narrowed down to 3 things for you right here that's pretty much going to cover all the bases, all right? Here's what you want to understand. Key number 1, tip number 1, contest prep nutrition. Do not diet yourself too hard, too fast, all right? This is key to make sure that you're going to preserve as much muscle. Here's what happens, no matter what division you're in, if you're in a male division, a female division, bikini, men's physique, wellness, bodybuilding, whatever, the goal all the time is to show up with the right composition of muscle. You want to have the right shape, the right symmetry, the right size, and the right proportion. This is all absolutely critical. And then we throw in the conditioning. Obviously, you got to be at the right conditioning for whatever division you compete in, but if you throw away any of that muscle, it's going to put you in a bad spot. You can be the leanest competitor on stage, and you're not going to perform the best or do the best if you don't have the right muscle, the right symmetry, the right shape, the right size, and the right proportion, all right? So it's really key and critical that when you go on a prep, you don't burn that muscle off. Here's the thing, crazy thing, right? When you go into a caloric deficit, when you do a contest prep, really what you are doing is a dieting phase. You're for most of the time dropping those calories down, getting into that burn zone where you're burning body fat now. A lot of times people are doing cardio, a lot of things going on here where now you're actually going to burn muscle. To the degree that you burn muscle is going to come down to how fast that you diet and how hard you diet, okay? And I say, slower pace is the better pace. Even if you end up, needing to put your prep back a week, 2 weeks, whatever, to do a different show, it doesn't matter. You don't want to burn this muscle. If you burn the muscle, you could be going back into building phase, improvement season phase for months, even years sometimes. I've seen competitors, that had awesome physiques, and they go and do this crazy crash diet where, they're eating 2,000, 3,000 calories a day, and now it's prep time. They cut themselves down to 1,000. Yeah, of course you're going to burn body fat. It's a given. But are you going to maintain that muscle? And I'll tell you what, you won't. And that's going to hurt you on stage. Remember, the leanest competitor on stage is not the best competitor. Most of the time, it's not the best competitor. The best competitor is going to be the person that has the best muscle, shape, size, symmetry, and proportion combined with the correct level of conditioning. So key number 1, tip number 1, don't burn your muscle on prep. And the way you do it is you diet slowly, you diet calculated, you monitor your pictures, your stats, your check-ins, and you make sure that, yeah, you're making improvements, you're leaning out, but you're keeping as much muscle on your body as you possibly can. Another tip coming at you right after this break.
TeamFFLEX.com presents a revolution in the online competition coaching experience. Contest prep has been redefined. From anywhere around the world, at the touch of a button, your entire totally custom coaching experience built just for you. Constantly monitored and adapted by your own expert competition coach. The most complete competition coaching experience awaits you now. Go to TeamFFLEX.com and try it free.
Tip number 2, when it comes to contest prep, you want to prioritize your protein. We just talked about your calories, dieting down slowly. That's all great. Make sure you do that. But what about your actual macronutrients? All right, we talk about your proteins, your carbs, and your fats being the fundamentals that really, break down your calories. And that's pretty much every food that you're going to eat. Even if you're not doing macro tracking, you're still doing this on a meal plan. You're still getting a certain amount of calories, certain amount of proteins, carbs, and fats. And I say make protein your most essential nutrient on your prep, right? When you're dieting down, we talked about the fact You will burn some muscle. To the degree that you're going to burn muscle is going to depend how hard you diet. But one thing that can support actually maintaining more muscle is going to make sure that your protein is at a good level. So you want to prioritize this nutrient. When I'm bringing somebody through a prep, I'm not really dropping their protein a lot unless we absolutely have to, okay? I'm really most of the time going to maintain that protein level it's been at, always kind of maintaining a higher protein, or I'm even going to raise it. You know, as we get into the deeper phases of a prep, more into the diet phases, I'll bring that protein even up more to, again, stave off some of this muscle loss, make sure that we're maintaining as much muscle as we can. Now, another benefit is protein also is thermodynamic. This means when you eat it, it takes more calories to burn as you're digesting. That actually supports you on a prep, right? If you're trying to lean out, eating food that's filling, it's thermodynamic, all that's going to help you actually get a better stage physique. Now, you might say, okay, cool, we prioritize the protein. What about the other nutrients? Well, I'll give you guys another tip here. This could be, I guess, tip 2.5, is that you really want to manipulate mostly your carbohydrates, all right? Your fats you want to maintain at a pretty good level. You don't want to cut these down a lot. I know a lot of competitors do that, and it works for some, but for most people, you know, you really need those fats at a good moderate kind of level constantly to maintain good metabolic function, good hormone function overall. Just, you know, fats are really essential in a lot of ways to doing a successful prep. So I say, you know what, manipulate the carbs most. When I have a competitor in the off season, the improvement season, we're really raising those carbs up, trying to get those calories in, build that muscle, and then I'm going to cut those down during a contest prep because you don't really need them for a lot of things. I mean, you can honestly get away with cutting your carbs down pretty significantly low, and you don't have to have any, you know, serious problems with it. Aside from a little, maybe a brain fog. You know, you always hear people talk about prep brain, but really, you know, the protein and the fats way more essential in a successful prep than the carbs do. So you can really raise those, lower those, and you can also, you know, do things like where you refeed the carbs, you bring them back in occasionally every now and then. You might raise it one week, drop it the next, vice versa. You know, you just got to be going where you're at and adapting all the time. And that's why tip number 3 is anytime you're on a contest prep diet, make sure that you're adapting. Make sure that you're actually looking at your check-ins. You know where you're moving, you're looking at your metrics, and you're not just doing this. So what all competitors do, they always look at the 7-day, right? I do check-ins with athletes and they're always like, oh no, my weight's up from last week, I'm freaking out. But you know what, when you look at the trend over time, you see, all right, that's actually not what the case is. So you got to be able to look at the global perspective of where your prep is and what's actually going on and be able to, you know, really see where that is and what's going on and make those adjustments as needed. And this is why it's really beneficial to have a coach, honestly, because a coach oftentimes can do this. I talk people off the ledge literally every week, you know, when we're going on a prep. People are freaking out, they're not lean enough, they're freaking out, they're not, you know, dieting right, they're freaking out, they're not on track to meet their show date, and I got to tell them all the time, hey, here's what we're doing, here's what we're looking at, here's what I'm seeing, and here's how it works, okay? So a lot of times when you're doing your own diet, you competitors out there, you're going to get in your head, and if you don't have a coach that's responsive or doing this or paying attention, checking your check-ins, adapting everything, you know, it's a major red flag, going to be a problem for your prep. So make sure, tip 3, that you're not only doing this prep, right? You're not only doing the diet right, you're dropping those calories so you're maintaining the right macros and the protein intake and all that, but that you're also making adjustments and you know what those adjustments need to be, and it can be a multitude of different things. You know, you got to know when it's time to drop calories, maybe it's time to bring some up, when is it time to play with the macronutrients specifically a little bit more, like I mentioned earlier, bringing that protein up, maybe carbs maybe come down, you know, vice versa. It's all different for every person, but you got to know what you're looking for. And really, I'm not going to lie to you guys, this comes a lot from experience of doing a lot of preps. You know, if you're a competitor out there self-coaching, you've done a lot of preps, you're working with a coach that's very into, you know, all of your stuff, knowing where you're at all the time, knowing where your show is, doing your check-ins with you fully, all that, all the time, you know, and they have a lot of experience with you, then maybe that's going to be a good thing. But either way, you got to know when these things happen and where you're at, and that's what's going to get you to stage at your best physique, all right? So these would be my 3 things that you want to make sure you're doing on a contest prep with your nutrition. Make sure that you're going into, and it's going to get you where you want to be, all right? So if you have any questions on anything, drop me a comment, let me know. I'm happy to answer it for you. Check out our free coaching trial at TeamFFLEX.com, where you can check that out for free, and we can train you free for the next 7 days. People love it. Great opportunity. Would love to see you in there. Just go to our website, TeamFFLEX.com, and you can put your email into our list and be invited to our coaching app. Last thing, please do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Trying to grow this channel, doing a lot of free content. Want to help you get better, get where you want to be. All right. Thanks for watching. Coach Rye is out.